Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm a certified Pilates instructor, and today we're going to go through a beginner-friendly reformer flow workout with some props. So before we lay down on our reformer, we're going to start with the magic circle. So if you have one nearby, go ahead and grab onto it. Start seated tall on the front edge of your carriage, side facing. Palms are pressing into the outside cushion pads of your magic circle. Let's roll those shoulders back. Sit nice and tall. We extend the arms out ahead of us. Squeeze into that circle as you bend the elbows, drawing it in at your sides. Kind of like that serve a tray motion that we'll do at the reformer or the springboard. Now, I always say this in class, it is up to you as far as how much you want to get out of that magic circle. The more you press into it as you bring that circle in towards your chest, the more you're going to feel those muscles turn on. Now go ahead and reach those arms out ahead of you, staring right in the center of that magic circle. Keep tension in that circle as well. Arms stay straight. As we exhale, we rotate, twist to the right, gaze follows, untwist back to center. Exhale, twist to the left, and back to center. Really try to keep those hips square. We're twisting from the ribs and up, getting that mobility in the thoracic region. Now, as we twist, we're going to add in a little pulse. Exhale, twist to the right, hold it there, little pulse, pulse, spine twist here. And exhale, twist to the left, pulse, pulse. Keep both feet grounded on the floor as we move here. Let's do one more on each side. See if you can get a little deeper in that spinal rotation each time. Now bring that circle back to center, gazes straight ahead, keep tension in that ring. We're gonna lift the arms up at a diagonal and then hinge from the hips forward, all right? So just that little flat back lean. Holding this position, we're gonna pulse our arms up an inch. Feel that mobility in the shoulder girdle here. Keeping tension in your circle as you reach the arms up and down. Now we want to make sure we're not collapsing our chest into our thighs to still keep space between the two. Pause and hold it here. Lift back up tall. Arms are reaching out at shoulder height. Let's reach that arm up overhead. Now if this does not feel good on your shoulders, then keep the arms bent, circle at your chest, okay? Otherwise, hold the arms up overhead. Lift back up tall. Now let's lift the heart up towards the sky, find a little extension, restack that spine, lower the arms down. Arms are straight ahead of us. Pulse into that circle. Exhale as you press in. Getting that spine and upper body nice and warmed up before we move on to footwork. Last 3, 2, 1, hold it there. And bend the elbows, set that circle on your thighs. Okay, let's place that circle on the floor. We don't need it right now. We're going to adjust our springs to whatever feels best for you. I'm going to go onto 2 springs, 1 medium and 1 heavy spring. And then we're gonna lay down on the reformer. If you have a headrest, that can be raised or flat, whatever feels best for you. Okay, so arms long at your sides. You're laying down supine on your back. Let's find that wide second position. Heels at the side edges of your foot bar, feet are externally rotated. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, extend the legs, press through those heels. Bend the knees, they go wide as you draw that carriage in. If you have hypermobility like me, be mindful not to lock the knees out here. Feel those inner thighs engaged as you extend your legs. Keeping those arms long at their sides, press your palms firmly into that carriage. That's going to activate your triceps a bit and just keep everything nice and awake. Let's do this one more time. Now bend the knees, bring that carriage in halfway. Tiny pulses out and in about an inch or so. Feel the lower body muscles get awake as well. Pause and hold it here. Extend your legs and bring that carriage all the way in. Walk your feet back to the center of your foot bar, coming onto our toes and the balls of our feet. Feet are about fist distance apart. Lift those heels like you're wearing a mini heel. We press the carriage away. Once the legs are long, lower those heels beneath the foot bar for tendon stretch. Lift the heels, bend the knees to bring it in. And don't do what I just did. Bring that carriage in with control. Prevent it from slamming. Feel that nice stretch in the backs of your legs as you lower those heels. Hips are square as we move this carriage, keeping that pelvic stability. Now let's keep that carriage out, legs stay long, we just lower the heels and lift the heels. Continue with that tendon stretch. Lift your heels, moving into prancing or running in place. One heel lowers as one heel lifts. Move at your own pace here. However, if you notice those hips start to rock and roll around, slow it down so you have more control. One more on each side. Lift both heels. Bend your knees, bring that carriage in halfway. Hold it there. Still have that slight lift in the heels as we pulse that carriage out and in an inch. Hold it there, still at that mid-range. Lower the heels and lift the heels. High heel to a sneaker here. Carriage is still. You control it. Last one. Lift those heels, press all the way out, and bring that carriage all the way in. Okay, moving on to our heels in a parallel stance, about hip distance apart. Flex those feet, toes pointing towards the ceiling. Exhale, extend the legs. Inhale, bend the knees to bring that carriage in. If it feels better for you to inhale on that exertion, you can do that too. For me, it feels better to exhale on the out and inhale on the in. So you do what feels best for you. Bringing that carriage in halfway again, hold it there. Carriage is still, we butterfly the knees out and back in. Keeping those heels connected to the foot bar. Make sure you're breathing. Last 3, 2, return to parallel, hold it there. Tiny pulses to finish, out and in an inch. Move with control and intention rather than momentum here. Last 2 and 1. Fully extend your legs and bring that carriage all the way in without slamming it. Lighter resistance, it's a little harder at times to be mindful of that. You can give those knees a little windshield wipe from side to side. Hug the knees into your chest, find that rock in that position. All right, let's return our feet back to our foot bar. If you have a headrest and it's lifted, please make sure it is completely flat. We're moving into our bridging series. All right, so let's go ahead and start with some pelvic rocks. Meet back at the foot bar with your heels at the center of your foot bar in that parallel stance, resting your arms long at your sides. Take that inhale through the nose to prepare. As you exhale, scoop your abdominals and rock your pelvis towards your ribs. Inhale to rock it away. So on that exhale, really focus on that deeper connection to your core. You're posteriorly tilting that pelvis, rolling through imprint. And then inhale, we're focusing a little more on that mobility in the lower back. Now focus on finding that in-between space. That's our neutral spine. Make sure those knees and feet are tracking forward. On our next exhale, we're going to hinge our hips up into a bridge. Lighter resistance here for me, so we'll see if I can keep this carriage still. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift those hips up. Use those glutes and hamstrings. Back stays flat as we hinge. Hold it there. Weight is on our shoulder blades. Exhale to slowly hinge back down. Exhale, we hip lift back up. Hold it there. Can take a little glance forward. Make sure that your hips are level as well. Make sure you're breathing too. Lower the hips down an inch and lift them back up an inch. Now if you feel that that carriage is swaying a bit, it's a little challenging to keep it still, pull your heels towards your glutes. That'll help you to stabilize it a bit more. Keep that control. Last 2. And 1, hold that bridge. Exhale, slowly hinge back down. Take a hamstring stretch if you need it, little knee sway. We're moving onto the arches of our feet now. So stay in that parallel position. You're gonna curl your toes over the foot bar and your heels are gonna pull beneath it, kind of like a bird on a perch, okay? So if hinging felt good for you, you can continue with that. I'm going to move into an articulated bridge. If you have osteoporosis, any back pain, spinal conditions, then you'll wanna stick with the hinge. All right, otherwise on that exhale, we're gonna slowly peel up, starting from the tailbone, one vertebrae at a time, until you're at that bridge. Keep those toes curling over that foot bar. Lower those hips down an inch again and back up an inch. Feel those glutes and hamstrings firing. Hold that lift of the hips. Butterfly the knees out and back in. If this does not feel good for you, then you can continue with the pulses. Hold that bridge. You can hinge back down and hinge back up. So it's a little more intense. Feeling those lower body muscles firing. Last two. Bring it back to that parallel stance. Starting at the upper back, we slowly roll back down one vertebrae at a time until your tailbone reaches that carriage. Once it does, give those knees a hug. A little sway from side to side. You can extend the legs up to 90, flex and point the feet for a deeper stretch. We're gonna do that one more time. Okay, we're gonna add a little layer of challenge here. So if this is too intense for you, you're going to stay on your heels or arches. Otherwise, I'm gonna bring it onto the toes, working our way up the foot, okay? So make sure you have a little space between your shoulders and the shoulder blocks. Fist distance apart with those feet. Lift those heels slightly. I'm going to hinge. You can articulate if you would like. Exhale, hinge up into that bridge. Hello, hamstrings. Keep those heels lifted, holding this bridge. Lower those hips down an inch and back up an inch. So you're wearing those imaginary heels as we keep that carriage steady and get all these muscles fired through. Last pulse here, hold that bridge, butterfly those knees out and in. You can also do this on the heels or the arches. Again, being on the balls of your feet is definitely more intense. Bring it back to parallel. Keep holding that bridge position. Lower the heels and lift the heels just like we did for footwork. Try to keep that carriage still. Last two. And one, lift those heels, lift those hips. Exhale, hinge back down. And lower your heels, give those knees a hug. Whew, okay, nice and awake. All right, if it felt better for you to have your headrest lifted, you can go ahead and raise it back up. We're moving into arms and straps. All right, so I'm still on 2 springs, one red and one blue. If you're familiar with the balanced body reformers, that's the tension I'm looking for. Okay, so keep your feet on the foot bar. Grab a hold of these straps, short or long loops for a little less tension if you prefer that. And send your arms up to 90. Okay, we want to make sure we have tension in those straps, so shift your arms slightly ahead. Wrists over the shoulders here. Once you're there, float the legs into tabletop. Strong 90-degree position with the legs. Knees are over the hips, shins parallel to the ceiling. Starting with that lower end lift. Exhale as you lower your arms, keep them straight. Inhale as you reach them back up to where we started. Sometimes these wrists can get a mind of their own. I know mine sure do. So be mindful of that. Keep them in that neutral position. You can have more of a grip on the straps if that helps you. Or open hand. Now this is where we're starting. So as we progress, if that becomes too much for you, just continue with this lower end lift. Otherwise, as we lower, we're going to single leg stretch one leg. Bend it back into tabletop and switch. You could add forward flexion here as well, curling the head, neck, and chest up and forward. I have my hair down today, and I don't want to risk getting it caught in the tracks, so I'm going to keep that grounded. We'll definitely add a little layer of intensity, though, if you choose to go into that chest lift. One more on each side. Further progression, we double leg stretch. Both legs extend at a diagonal as you lower the arms, holding that 100 position, especially if you're in that chest lift. We're in a neutral spine here, but if you're unable to hold that neutral spine, then you can go into imprint. Reach the arms back up to 90 and keep tension in those straps. Legs are in tabletop. Hold that tension in your straps and single leg stretch. One leg reaches out at a time. Make sure you're breathing. 2 more on each side. Last one. Bend the knees back into tabletop. Exhale, lower the arms down to your side. Keep those straps there and double leg stretch those legs out and in. Arms are long and strong. 2 more. The last one, bend the knees back into tabletop. Reach the arms back up to 90 and lower your feet one at a time. Whew, keep holding those straps, but you can bend the elbows, give the knees a little sway. We're moving into triceps, all right? So return to that sorting position. Wrists are over the shoulders, tension in your straps. Float the legs back into that strong tabletop. If I had a glass of lemonade or a tray of lemonade, I could balance it on your shins. Exhale, lower the arms down to your sides. From there, we bend the elbows and straighten the arms. I'm going to have more of a grip on my straps because Pilates has made me realize just how hypermobile I am. And for proprioceptive purposes, I gotta keep these wrists neutral, and that will help me do this. Keep those elbows glued in at your sides, arms at a hover from that carriage if you're able. Now hold that bend in the elbows. I'm gonna open my hands up. Tricep taps, we reach the arms up to the sky and slide them back down at our ribs. Up and down. Not too much movement from the carriage here, that's okay. Feel that core working to stabilize. As you feel that connection, while we also feel those arms, focus on drawing your ribs in and down to prevent that rib flare. We're gonna put these 2 moves together. Bend the elbows, straighten the arms, bend, reach up. Kind of like a chest press motion with those tricep taps. Two more of each. Arms are feeling it. Last one. Straighten those arms. Reach the arms up to 90. Keep tension in those straps again. We're moving into single leg toe taps. One leg reaches up and over towards that foot bar. So think you're hinging from that crease of the hip here. Lots of lower abdominal focus. And the knees do not bend any further or straighten. So we're keeping them locked in that 90-degree position. One more. Connect those legs together. Whew. Exhale, straighten the arms. Keep them long at your side again. Option to move into double leg toe taps. You reach it up and over. So knees come ahead of the hips and then return to being over them. Continue with single leg toe taps if you need to modify. Does not need to be a huge range of motion to feel this. Whew, it's not easy to talk to this either. Last 2. 1, return to tabletop. Reach the arms up to 90 and lower your feet. Whew, and bend those elbows. Release those straps. Give the arms a little stretch, reach them out or across your body, hug it in with the other arm. Give the knees a little sway, whatever your body needs. Okay, moving into our teaser prep. We're gonna extend one leg over the foot bar. Let's start with the right. The left leg is going to reach underneath it. Sandwich that foot bar. So you're gonna lift that bottom leg and squeeze into that foot bar with both of your legs. Reach the arms up to 90. Hug those ribs in towards the midline. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, we circle and teaser up. Proud chest, arms are reaching out at that diagonal. Draw the shoulders down and away from the ears. Hold it there. Now let's lower that bottom leg. That left leg lowers and lifts. Feel that engagement in your quad. Sandwich that foot bar. Exhale to articulate down, circle the arms up. Lower the arms and let's switch sides. All right, so now that left leg's on top, right leg on bottom, s'mores, sandwich that foot bar. Arms up to 90. Inhale. Exhale, circle and teaser up, strong V-sit here, hold it there, and then lower and lift that right leg up and down. The higher your arms go, the more intensity you might find on those abdominals. Keep that neck long. Sandwich that foot bar and peel back down onto that mat. Arms reach up, okay? If that was just enough intensity for you, you can stick with that. Otherwise, I'm gonna try for a full teaser. We'll see where we're at. It's different every day, I've found. All right, so both calves resting on top of that foot bar. Reach those arms up again. Inhale, okay, exhale. We circle and teaser up. Those those calves float off of that foot bar. Hold it there. Draw those shoulders down. Hold that V-sit. We reach the arms up and down. Slight tuck of that tailbone. Pause and hold it here. Bend the knees into tabletop. Reach your arms forward for your foot bar. Nice little way to get up. We just swivel and now you're seated. Okay, moving into our long box seated series. We're gonna start with seated chest expansion. So I've set my box long ways. I'm on one medium spring now, and I'm gonna hold on to those long loops. You can always hold on to the short loops or hold on to the tape section of your straps if you prefer more tension here. All right, so we're gonna sit tall, feet are on your headrest, gaze is ahead. Straight arms, we press those straps back behind our body, and then float them ahead with control. Just like before, let's draw those ribs in and down, knit them in together. Arms are straight. Now hold those straps back behind your body. Keep them there. Inhale, turn your head to the right. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, turn your head to the left. Return to center. Now tiny pulses back an inch. Back an inch. Feel those back body muscles working. And float those arms ahead. You can round forward, just open up those shoulder blades. Do what feels good for you. Reach for your shins or your toes. And then slowly roll back up. We're gonna return to seated, and we're gonna crisscross those straps. Now I'm gonna recommend that you hold on to the tape section of your straps for more tension. All right, you might wanna scooch back a little bit closer to the center of your box. Reach the arms out ahead of you, palms facing down. We bend the elbows for wide rows. And reach the arms back out ahead. I always have to pay attention to my wrists here as well, because they certainly have a mind of their own most times. Feel those shoulder blades draw closer in towards the midline as you pull those straps, elbows go wide, and reach the arms back in front. Let's do that 2 more times. Keep your gaze ahead. And reach the arms back out. Uncross those straps, but keep holding onto the tape section of your straps. We're moving into a seated or a roll down. Okay, so arms out ahead of you, palms facing in. I'm gonna have you actually scooch up a bit towards the front edge of your box to give ourselves as much room as possible. Feet are on your headrest. As you exhale, you're gonna scoop those lower abdominals and start to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Keep your gaze ahead until it absolutely has to lower. Now I don't have as much room, so I'm gonna keep my neck neutral here, not drop it down. Exhale, nod my chin forward. I'm gonna scoop those abs again and round forward. Keep that forward flexion until the shoulders are over the hips. Once they are, we articulate back up. Let's do that again. Getting that nice movement in our spine. Hold it there and articulate back up. Okay. All right, so we're gonna keep holding onto these straps now, the tape section of your ropes, palms facing in. Sit tall, we're moving into that C curve now. So gaze is ahead, let's scoop those lower abdominals, tuck that tailbone slightly, and just make that C shape with your spine. All right, we wanna make sure that our shoulders aren't collapsing forward, so keep that collarbone proud, hold it there, and then float one leg into tabletop. Lower it down and switch. So we're holding that C curve while we move into that marching motion. If the C curve does not feel good on your back, you can always hinge. Imagine like you're in a recliner, you lean back at a diagonal and hold it there. Now let's hold that right leg into tabletop. Have the left leg float up to meet it there. Keep that tension in your straps. Let's roll down a little deeper, feel those abdominals engage, and move back into those single leg toe taps. To modify, keep one foot on your headrest and just work one side at a time. Now try your best to keep that carriage still. It's easier said than done. Pause and hold it there. Option to hold that tabletop. And double leg toe taps. I even have to spot check myself because those shoulders definitely want to round forward. So keep that chest open. Embrace that shake. Hold that tabletop. Lower one foot at a time. And then articulate back up. Take a forward stretch if you need it. We're going to then turn around so that we're facing our foot bar. Okay, so I'm just going to keep holding onto my straps. Shimmy around, so you're kind of straddling that box, holding onto both straps, okay? Short or long loop, you choose what feels best for you. Seated tall at the center of your box, we're starting with that cervic. So elbows are bent, glued in at our sides, palms up. We extend the arms out ahead of us and bend the elbows to glide it back in. Only thing moving right now are the arms. So if you notice that your body is swaying forward and back, maybe scooch back a bit on your box or shift over to the long loops, or maybe try a lighter resistance so you have better control and form. Layering an offer, we extend the arms out ahead of us, the arms wide into a wide V, bring it back in front and bend the elbows to pull it in. So it's forward, out, forward, in. Depending on what day it is, I'll say, okay, you know, it's Friday, what are we serving? People will say pizza or beers. So we're serving our tray of pizza, offering it to everyone around us, bringing it back in because you need a slice for yourself. Let's do that one more time. Bend the elbows, shift the arms back, and take a forward stretch, little lean forward. Go ahead and reach back up tall, and now have the arms long at your sides. We're moving into presentation or reverse expansion. So keeping the arms straight, now we sweep them ahead of us to shoulder height and lower them back down. This range of motion feels good for me, but if your arms are hitting into your legs, you could try bringing your feet forward or sit crisscross on the box if that feels all right for you. Let's do that 2 more times. And lower those arms down. Okay, so now we're side facing on the long box. I'm going to scooch a little closer to the risers, moving into oblique twist. Hold onto that long loop. I'm still on one medium spring. Interlace those fingers so palms are right ahead of our chest. Think like you're holding onto a big beach ball here. As you exhale, we oblique twist towards the foot bar and untwist up when your hands are ahead of the sternum. We're twisting from the ribs and up, similar to what we did with that magic circle, moving the spine in all directions. Spring has a mind of its own today. We're gonna add a little double twist in now. So we rotate towards the foot bar and then twist towards the risers. Feel that nice stretch in the other oblique. We want to keep those elbows lifted and level and space between our palms and our chest. Sometimes the elbows can teeter-totter or the palms come closer in. Keep that beach ball shape. One more on each side. Hold this next twist towards that foot bar and tiny pulses over about half an inch or so. Last 3, 2, 1. Untwist, hold it there. Separate the arms for single arm hug a tree. And you know what? I'm actually going to move to the short loop and scooch a little further away just for some more tension. So you can pause and adjust if you need to. Fingertips connect and then the arms reach away. Feel the upper back and chest working here. Even though we have one free arm, focus on also creating that resistance with that aisle side arm or that foot bar side arm. I'm in studio talk right now with my cues. Last 2. And 1. Separate the arms and lower it down. All right, so moving on to the other side. Obviously, I'm not facing you, but we got to even the sides out. I've got a little limited space here, so we're going to make it work. Interlace those fingers again, sit nice and tall, hands ahead of the chest. Exhale as you twist and untwist. Keep both sit bones grounded firmly on that box. Let's also rotate towards the risers now. Hold this next twist towards the foot bar and pulse. Make sure those, again, elbows are lifted and level. Holding on to that imaginary ball. Last 2. 1. Untwist. Separate the arms. Adjust if you need to. I'm going to scooch a little further away and grab a hold of the short loop for that single arm hug a tree. So arms are reaching out. Let's again sit nice and tall. Roll those shoulders down and away from the ears. Fingertips connect and then the arms separate. Make sure that you can still see your hands in your peripheral as the arms move away from each other. If they go too far back, then we risk going into extension, which we're not looking for right now. Three more like this. The last one. Reach the arms away and lower them down. Since we have the box here, I'm going to move into a prone position now. All right, so chest is at the front edge of that box. My legs are long and energized, reaching behind me. Hands are resting on the frame. All right, so we're going to move into that swimming motion. Let's start with the arms. So we're going to lift the right arm up ahead of us, lower it down, and switch. Palms can face in or down, whatever feels best on your shoulders. Keep that neck long, gazes down. If you would like to progress this, challenge yourself. Keep both arms reaching out ahead of you like you're Superwoman or Superman, and then lift one arm a little higher at a time. As the right arm lifts, let's lift the left leg. Lower and switch. Opposite arm to opposite leg. We're working that posterior chain. Again, if you want to challenge yourself with the legs, keep those quads lifting at a hover. And then you can even quicken the pace if you'd like. However, if you notice those hips are rocking and rolling, then slow it down so you can keep that pelvic stability. 2 more on each side. Pause and hold it there. Reach through those fingertips and toes. Can you lift the arms a little higher? Lift the legs a little higher and lower it all down. Bend the knees. Give those legs a little sway from side to side. All right, keep your hands resting on your frame. Knees are gonna stay bent. Connect your heels together, toes apart. It's that Pilates V position. So knees are gonna go a little wider here. Carriage is not moving, all right? Frog heel pumps. We float those quads up to a hover and then lower them back down on the box. Like you're stomping those heels up towards the ceiling. Now you're gonna feel this in those glutes. If you'd like to add a layer of challenge here, lift up, butterfly the knees out a little wider, bring it back in and set the thighs back down. So it's a little up, out, in, and down. Just feeling that burn a little more. Keep that pelvis heavy into the box. One more time. Hold that lift to the quads. They're hovering over that box. Separate the heels, extend the legs long, and bend the knees, reconnect the heels. It's like a hamstring curl with that external rotation. Keep those quads hovering the entire time. Last two. And one. Connect those heels, lift those quads up a little higher, and lower it down. You can rest your shins on your foot bar. Whew, just kind of collapse down for a minute, or windshield wipe those knees from side to side, okay? All right, so we're gonna finish with a little swan lift. So reach your arms ahead, thumbs facing up, legs are long. You can separate the legs wider if you feel any tension in your lower back here. Very important though, thumbs up, because we're moving the carriage now. All right, so we're gonna shift that carriage forward. As you do, peel the chest up off of that box and exhale to lower it back down. We're getting that extension now in the thoracic spine. Keep the legs and pelvis heavy in the box. Neck is long. Think no wrinkles in the back of your neck as you articulate off that box and slowly peel back down. Last one. Lift up into that beautiful feel-good swan and exhale to peel back down. All right, we're gonna carefully dismount off of our box, and that is our beginner-friendly reformer flow. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank yourself for showing up today, doing something good for you, getting stronger with each and every class that you take.